Oh, hello. Welcome to today's messages. Nice to see you. Let's tune in to the frequencies of the earth. Cleanse and clear. Beautiful. Beautiful. Gorgeous even. Yes, I hope you are well. Doing excelente, choosing love at every corner, at every junction, at every choice point. This is our free will, right? To choose, the freedom to choose. Okay. The sun is shining, the rainbows are out. Yes. Yay. Okay. Let's start with one of these gorgeous cards from the artist Josephine Wall. That one. Oops. It's a mystery. Listening. Listen. Ooh, ah, ooh, do you want to know a secret? Ooh, ah, ooh, do you promise not to tell? Whoa, whoa, closer. Ooh, ah, ooh, let me whisper in your ear. Ooh, ah, ooh, say the words you long to hear. I'm in love with you. Ooh. Right? Closer. Okay. So being in a state of listening is like being in a state of receiving, all right? You receive messages when you are in listening mode. You receive manifestations when you are in receiving mode. They are the same, but totally different. They're alternate dimensional byproducts of a state of being, of a frequency. Okay. Interesting. Where are we? Where are we here? I think that's blueprint. And illusion. Yes, it is. Blueprint. Ooh, ah. Okay, your blueprint, the reason, the contract, the soul mission that your soul created for itself before incarnating into this life, that is your blueprint, right? It is the recognition that you chose to be here, that you handpicked all of the main catalysts and junctions for yourself to support, nurture, and encourage this version of you now to be. And you are one who breaks illusion. Okay, so this is truth as you think you know. Everything makes sense, everything has its place. And then this new bit of information comes in, and now you have to reassess everything that you thought was true. Now, what you thought was true has evolved, has expanded, has changed. And so the old truth becomes the illusion as the new truth steps forward. And so too with you, right? The old version of you, as you change, as you adapt, as you evolve, the old version of you, like the snake shedding its skin, becomes a facsimile, a facade that needs to be stripped away so that the truer version of you can be, right? Okay. And then we get a rune here. Being in a state of receiving is an openness to new information. I don't know which cards. Maybe this one. Isa. Ooh, okay. Stillness. To be in a state of listening is to be still, right? To clear the mind, to calm the nervous system, to still the noise, the clutter, to receive, to create an open field of resonance to receive. Let's see what else. Isa, because it's ice. And finding that balance between sleep and death, right? You don't want to sleep forever and then you die. You want, especially in ice, because sleeping too long means death, right? Stillness, self-control, focus, stability, and stasis. The message of Isa is one of finding inner strength, self-reliance, self-awareness, and self-acceptance. It halts activity until a change is made, whether from within or without. Right. And so too, when you have new information coming in that makes what was irrelevant, we do have a tendency to try to hold that old way because it's familiar, because we finally wore it in like a new pair of shoes, right? And but that is the ego resisting change, resisting evolution, because we are ever evolving. Information is ever, we are receiving, right? Yes. Okay. Let's see what the tarot wants to add. Paint. Describe. Combine. Articulate. Okay. Who's coming out? It's the Eight of Cups. It's your experience. Yes. Okay. So your experience thus far is what is helping you to more easily shed and step forward, because you recognize that holding fixed and too tightly to anything that is falling away is grasping at illusion, right? And so it is important to remind ourselves, see when we are gripping, see when we are resisting, and release, right? This is that beautiful balance with surrender. Surrender, release. It is a state of openness. When you're tuning a radio station, there are clear points, and then there's in between fuzzy periods. And so this tuning, this getting ready, but getting better at tuning to receive that frequency, something like that. Okay. So your experience in life up until now, you recognize being in a state of chaos and not receiving clear communication, and being in a state of openness, of stillness, so that you can. Yes. Being in a state of balance and receiving mode. This is how you do it. This is what it looks like. Okay, outside of the community, of the city, of the noise, grounded, centered, right? Connected, spirit team, physical, emotional, spiritual, mental, spiritual. This is your state of listening, of receiving, of grounding. Tapping in. Just think of it as tapping in. When you assume the position, right? When you ground, you drop down your tap root and connect. You plug in. And I was going to say that's I was seeing the male and female plug-in ports and our embodied and unified masculine and feminine within, and we become both the male port that we plug in to the earth, but then we also are the female port that receives the information. This is part of the magic that we hold, embody, are right now, okay? And it is fundamentally balance. Yes. Fundamentally a balance. Yeah. The magician is the alchemist, the one who uses all of the elements and transmutes to serve the greatest and highest good of all. And that's a beautiful thing. Okay. TMI. Let's try that again. That was an example of being in a chaotic receiving mode. You get like just a bundle of information and you're like, I don't know what to do with this. It's too much. It's overwhelming, right? But when you are open, still, listening, clear, concise messages can come through like that. We've got patience. Okay. So be patient. If you don't receive anything, maybe don't go in looking to receive, go in looking to achieve that state of listening, of stillness, of openness. Just give yourself 5 minutes at a time. Start with one, start with, continue with two, build up, and just allow. It is a surrendering and allowing state of being. And it will take a minute to signal, if you can do it at the same time of day too, because then you start to build up pattern recognition within the body. And eventually you'll be able to get there quicker, more efficiently. And then before you know it, you're receiving all kinds of things, right? But this is that surrender. This is that practice on achieving first, because then you're not having expectation. Then you're not disappointed when you didn't do the thing you set out to do, which was receive a message, right? I was listening and I didn't hear anything. So if we just understand that the receiving, the hearing, is a byproduct of achieving a stillness within, makes achieving that stillness the goal. It's basically like a being, right? This place of being. We're so doing. And then that's why it's really hard for some of us, right? To just be, because the brain's like, okay, you should be doing something right now. There's all these things. Now I'm going to list them off. Now I'm thinking about all the things I should be doing instead of sitting here. But if you allow yourself, that's why just little bits of time, right? 5 minutes, eyes closed, focus on a sound like a fan or a furnace, something that is constant, that you can focus in on, that makes you not think about something. Breathing on your breath. Find a way that works. Find a way that works and get there and make it a practice, okay? Okay, we've got the Queen of Wands, who is shining in her authenticity, who is passionate, who's a visionary, who is embodying the state of being authentic, creative, intuitive, and harnessing the power of the sun. This is the transmutation, taking the energy from the sun and planting it into the ground and growing it and creating abundance, right? The sunflower represents that, because one seed grows one sunflower that is full of many, many, many more seeds, right? It's the abundance flower of the sun. Yeah, and even her eyes are closed. She is in a state of listening to her intuition. Yeah, even with the patience, right? This knight is prepared, doesn't necessarily know where he's going. He's just ready for it, right? And so you don't necessarily know what you are listening for, but you are creating an environment so open to receive that you're going to hear whatever it is when it comes, right? And of course, always intend that only energies aligned with your highest and greatest truth and version of self can interact. Okay. Yes, we've got the death and transformation and transitioning. This could be about listening for your next move, right? The state of being before you take action, the state of waiting and preparation before you make a move. Death and transformation, the death of the old fertilizes the seeds of the new. And this transitioning, this is that old version of self peeling away as the new version of self steps forward. Beautiful. Yeah, we are human beings, yet we act like we're human doings, right? Balance between the being and the doing, between the feminine and the masculine. One of my things I've been doing lately for energetic maintenance is the breathing up the energy from the earth, right? And breathing down the energy from spirit. And this pathway, this is the Taurus field, right? Our energetic sphere. And this is also the masculine rises with courage and strength, right? Rises with courage and strength. And the feminine falls with faith and intuition. This is that beautiful balance within. But whatever way works for you, right? That's the thing. We all have our ways. Not all meditations work the same for people. Some people can reach a meditative state doing dishes or dancing or going for a run. I met somebody years and years ago, and they ran, like 5K or 12K or, something beyond my mind. And they said that after they reached a certain point, they just flipped into this bliss mode, this kind of alternate state. And I found that really interesting. Okay, so we've got the King of Pentacles and the Chariot. Okay, so the Chariot, yes, this is the timelines moving in your favor, the universe conspiring to line up the timelines to meet you where you are. It's a collaboration, so it's like I'll meet you halfway, right? You get there, I'll bring it. And the King of Pentacles is the grounded, the centered, the stable, the sturdy, the material realm master. Okay, one who plucks wishes from the sky, plants them into the earth, and produces abundance in the material. Okay, so I feel like this is an aspect of you and this new timeline that you're stepping into, this new version of you. See, this is why it's important to evolve, right? Because we are rising to meet versions of ourselves that are always meant to be, that was written. And become a master in the material. We also have a beautiful balance of this masculine and feminine being in her authentic authority, holding the vision and acting on grounded sturdiness in the material realm, taking action in the material world. Do and do that bow baby do. Okay, nope, too many, but I did see the flash of making a choice, and we always have that choice, right? We have the free will. We can choose to cling on to the old illusion and deny the truth of expansion, of growth, of change. But with it comes that I just feel the sense of ripping, like a pulling apart. It feels more resistant, more unnatural, because we are meant to evolve. We are meant to progress. We are meant to continuously adapt. Look at, otherwise, we would still just be babies, right? Yes. This is part of the experience. These old versions of self, to be able to look back and say, I remember when I was this cup. Oh, the fun I had. Oh, the things I got away with. Oh, the things I took for granted or didn't understand, right? And looking back from where you are now with the recognition that, yes, those were some days, but these are the days right now, right? That we are living in. Okay. Yeah, and when you're in a state of resistance, you are not in an open stillness state of receiving, to be able to hear, to listen, to receive the beautiful balance and harmony. This is what we're heading towards. This is what we're adapting for. This balance, this celebration, this joy state, this harmony, this bliss, this listening and stillness, this calming of and tending of the nervous system, this balancing between being and doing, and alchemizing anything that comes towards you into something that nurtures your expansion. That is the power of the magician. And this is the goal. Okay, this is the goal. And I feel like this is also part of your divine blueprint, is to be an example of getting there, right? So when people are like, how did you get there? You're like, well, I stripped away the illusions. I released, I surrendered, I healed, I calmed, I let go of, I put to death, I transmuted, right? I balanced, I listened to my intuition, and then I took action when it felt right. And the universe met me halfway. And now, boom, this is my life, right? Yes, gorgeous, gorgeousness. Okay, let's get another card of some kind. Should we get an animal oracle? Is this an animal oracle day? Maybe it's a crystal card day. I don't know, animals. What do you think? Okay, I'll give you one pass through here. Any animals wanna come out? It's the cobra. Beautiful. Cobra came out yesterday, or last reading. One of the last readings. They all just blur into the other one. Over there, the one before. Fire. Okay, Cobra. What you got for us? Pausing, waiting, the inner teacher. Cobra. Cobra Kai. The cobra represents a teacher or spiritual guardian. The cobra hovers and watches, ever present, ever protecting, ever loving. The essence of the cobra is found deep within us in the form of the inner teacher and manifests externally in those special guides who've led us along our path. What would it feel like to be a student again? What are you ready to learn? Remember the old saying, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. I'm glad this came up because when I watched it was yesterday's. It was the one about pride. And, the thing that came up with Cobra was how pride stops us, right? We reach, when we're prideful, the shadow pride, there is this element of, I've been there, I've done that, I know everything I need to know, right? It's a ceiling that people refuse to move beyond. Cobra wisdom, when the student is ready, the master appears. It is the student becoming the master, knowing that they are always a student. This is part of the illusion that you can know everything, that you can reach a ceiling and be at the top, right? Because we're ever expanding, because we're ever evolving, so true are we ever learning, always new information coming in, encouraging us to reassess what we think we know and to learn. Okay, when in light, a student of life, right? Humble and wise. When out of balance, know-it-all and egocentric. I don't need to learn anything. I know everything, right? To bring into balance, taking a class and study. Yeah, because the more you do that, the more you realize you don't know a lot of things, right? This is how you become a master. The minute you are learning and you come to the realization that you will never learn everything. You become a master in tandem with remaining a student. There's more balance, right? Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. Oh, the fairies want to come out. Okay, fairies. What you got for us? The fae. What's our fae for the day? What the fae gotta say? Who dat? Okay, we've got Apanya's wild daughter and the pook. Aponas. The text is very fancy, so I can't read it all the time. Okay, 54. No, how did we get there? Oh, that's a 3. 54. Ipona's wild daughter, inner shadows, nightmare, depression, madness, and growth. Ipona's wild daughter, Docha, is the Sphinx, whose riddles must be answered lest we otherwise be destroyed by our own inner complex. Dorcha reminds us that we cannot go forward until we have faced something buried within us that is holding us back. Her presence in a reading tells us that finding and working through this is a task of some urgency. We can expect help in this from other people, from the fairies, and from our dreams, but we must be open to these difficult questions and answers and be ready to face things about ourselves that are not as we would wish them to be. She urges us to heal the unresolved issues about who we really are and what we truly want to be. This is part of the required course of Self-Transformation 101 that we are all enrolled in here on planet Earth. The answers to her riddles often come in a sudden burst of enlightenment, like the solution to a Zen koan. We may watch a leaf fall or catch a glimpse of the tiny sliver of the new moon in the sky and suddenly be hit by the answer. Before this happens, we usually work long and hard upon the question, searching and digging for the answer. The realization, when we really have it, will be transformative. We will no longer be the people that we once were. You don't like this interpretation? Well, I have been telling you all along that we, you and I and everyone else, will all receive varying messages from the fairies in the cards. Yours may well differ from mine. Ask the Dorcha what message she has for you, and don't be surprised if her answer is another question or riddle. She and I both wish you well in solving it with all our hearts. Beautiful. So, does that validate or verify or confirm this holding on to the old structures, the old aversion, the old illusion of ourselves? And we need to let those things go in order to evolve into the newer versions, right? Okay, beautiful. And Zapuk. Shape changer, good and bad, bad and good, paradox, and resolution. The pook is a shape changer. It is time for the resolution of seeming contradictions and paradoxes in a situation. Someone or some part of the situation is cloaked in confusion, and our muddled thoughts must be stripped away, revealing truth. We just need to think about it. The information we needed is now available to us. As soon as we have that burst of insight and get it, it's time for us to make changes based on our newly clear understanding. Alternatively, it might be time for us to make a reality check on good, bad labels we put on things. Make a list of the good, possibly even surprising things about the situation, and another list about the bad ones. If you are not in the habit of seeing the good in the bad and the bad in the good, having preferred a black and white world rather than one with colors, you may need some help in learning to do this well. Okay, so the fairies are encouraging a state of listening and receiving and connecting in and self-examination. Thank you, fairies. You're gorgeous. You're gorgeous. Okay, let's get a crystal card. One of these beautiful crystal cards. It's like an owl. The beak and the eyes. What else? All kinds of things. Is that a heart or a bird? Phoenix? Two faces? Pineal gland? I don't know. Okay. 5 is illusion. Whoa. Whoa. Desire, clarity, and inner guidance. Dude. Okay. You are guided to ascertain the motivations of those involved in your current situation, as everything is not as it appears. Are you feeling aligned with your highest intent, or are you repeating an existing life pattern? This card signals an opportunity for change and encourages you to seek a deeper connection to your loving inner self. The quiet voice of your heart knows the truth of all things and is the ultimate source of guidance. Take the time to meditate and pursue activities that support your inner connection. Beautiful. Beautiful. I got goosebumps. Okay. Seek guidance from within and trust in the quiet, loving voice of your heart. What a beautiful full circle moment. That's what you're listening for, too. Beautiful. Beautiful. Wow. I mean, you just can't make this stuff up, right? You just can't make it up. Beautiful. Gorgeous. Okay, let's get some love messages. These ones. We got hug a tree. It's time to release and ground all that no longer serves. Hug a tree and let it be, right? Release. Release. Oh, ground yourself. Wow. Okay. Okay, guys. Let's just take it easy here. Yes, everything that I just said. We've got your dreams will come true. Okay. Confirmation. Yeah, you're so there, man. You are so there, transforming into gorgeousness. Burn it to release. Okay. So there are some things. I'm also getting calling in Archangel Gabriel. No, who is it? Archangel. Oh no, it's not Archangel. It's Saint Germain. Isn't he a ascended master? Anyways, the violet flame, right? Calling in the violet flame to burn away all that is no longer serving you, to release it. And treat yourself gorgeously because you are gorgeous. Yes. Okay. This money charms. Beautiful. Okay. What do we got? One over here. There's the water buffalo, the land animal, balance, sturdy in the material. This is the king of pentacles, who has transformed or is in a state of transforming. Beautiful. We've got love, 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 love. Yeah. She is being authentically herself, right? And this is the divine state of love. When you are authentically yourself, you are embodying the love frequency. Okay, look at this. This is you, the butterfly who has transformed. Okay, beautiful. All these past experiences have led to this gorgeous transformation, to your gorgeous transformation. Okay, and look at this. We've got a beautiful thing happening here. Beautiful. Right? Yes. Yes. Was that it? That's all the charms. Okay. Well, that's what I have for you today. These are all the beautiful cards of the day. Blueprint. Remember who you are, right? Stillness, listening, Find the illusions and let them go. Be the student of life. Ground yourself. Balance. Alchemize. Transition. And continue to be your gorgeousness. Your gorgeous self. Okay. Love and appreciate you and hope to see you next time. Bye for now.